Hi, my name is Leonardo Vincent, and today I'll be presenting the rathdowne bathhouse. The derivation of my concept began in the questioning of how phenomenology can be utilized into creating an experience that responds to several aspects of everyday life. In our given context of the city, the main demography mainly consists of students and people of the working class, with them engaging with the contemporary technology-dominated and quick-paced urban life. There lies an overlying problem in relation to the senses. As theorist Peter Eisenman mentioned, the electronic paradigm directs a powerful challenge because it defines reality in terms of media stimulation that undermines our existence. So in developing a response, I investigated emotions that could counteract the lack of awareness that is running rampant in the modern lifestyle. A lifestyle that has distorted our sense of time and space with its pace and overwhelming flow of information. This led me to the concepts of sublimity, an aesthetic quality that is distinct in nature and often expressed in the visual arts and writings. It is heavily related to feelings of awe and reverence, intensely reminding us of our own mortality, evoking the feelings of being alive by challenging our senses. The principles that I have derived from sublimity that I will aim to advocate through an architectural language are as such: an architecture that creates feelings of bewilderment, creation of monumentality through manipulation of scales, raw honesty of materiality and its interactions with daylight, and lastly, to enliven the senses by challenging them. As our site is quite humble in its scale, being placed in the suburban area of Carlton, in between two busy streets surrounded by commercialized real estates and low-rise residents, there are no potentials for views that could be utilized. I choose to respond to this by blocking out the context, by creating a design with an internalized secluded environment to create a self-contained atmosphere. The design was manifested as thus: a humble exterior with limited interface towards the public realm, made of gabion walls and corten steel, slightly hinting while silently hiding its sovereign internalized milieu.
A multitude of concrete compartmentalization of baths were created with the intention to overwhelm the users of its masses. It puts emphasis to the raw, unpolished concrete materiality, while also allowing for a meandering experience through a repetitive language that creates feelings of bewilderment. Its forms are made rectangular, placed within a field. This is done with the intention of creating paths that allows for meandering, creating a balanced sense of directionality and aimlessness, allowing the users to feel lost in space.
The slight regularity is thread lightly with irregular plays of scale through the differing magnitudes of the baths, where the vastness of the exterior space is accompanied by the more intimate individual baths.
The ceiling is designed to have a clear view of the sky, being made of glass and light-colored metal structure to diminish its own visibility. It is complemented with intense nooks of light within each bath to accentuate natural light for it to interact sublimely with the existing materiality.
To maximize the immersion towards the internalized environment, the main journey is articulated to distort the user's sense of geography of the outside, to diminish their memory of the external environment. As they go from public spaces to the bath, the journey forms itself as a transition, both physically and psychologically, through a dark passage subtly guided with strands of light towards the amenities. Before entering the main space, where the bather's remnants of urbanity have been unraveled, a sensory threshold was created to rid of the users of their senses in the forms of sensory deprivation baths. These pods are equipped with metal doors that are automated in an unhurried speed to aid the transition. These baths allow for users to stay inside where their perception of the senses are limited, lying afloat within salt waters without senses of touch and sound, with limited amounts of light. The first space accessed thereafter is the outdoor bath. It is a multi-level bath equipped with tectonics to aid for affordances and for occupants to experience the sunlight. Nearby lies the sunbaths, narrow individual pods scattered towards the bath with extreme height, designed to maximize the reverberations of sounds of the occupants rippling its internal waters. The flower bath, connected with the other baths, is accommodated with islands of rectangular boulders, with nooks and crannies created for more private resting spaces. Its privacy is enhanced with the visions of the glass-covered ceiling limited by the overhanging baths. The fire baths, located in the upper levels, are made of 3 different compartments of baths, connected by a river, each equipped with different levels of heat and extremity of light nooks, adjusting a higher intensity of light within the space with higher levels of heat and vice versa. And finally, the cold baths are located next to each of the fire baths as individual amenities, allowing for a back and forth circulation for the users. Each of the spaces are formulated as a stepping down tectonic, allowing for users to dive in deeper to the cold in their own pace. This slanting gesture is replicated in the ceiling height, limiting the user's senses to focus on the temperature. These design decisions were made with the wish that the bathers will receive a rejuvenating experience by how the space challenges their senses, to be more aware of their consciousness with a mindfulness of their surroundings and themselves, as a form of antithesis of modern urban calamity, feelings that has been described by the romantic definition of the sublime. This has been a presentation of the rathdowne bathhouse.